Welcome to the Theatre of Others podcast. My name is Adam Marple, and I'm the co-artistic director of the Theatre of Others. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a shutdown and reevaluation of space and gathering, we at the Theatre of Others are thinking about what stories we need and how best we can share them. We believe space is psychology, and it informs the way in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. Now that space has moved online, how can we encourage interaction and action amongst an audience virtually? The Theatre of Others produces plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theatre of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purpose of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task, and it requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? On the podcast today from Melbourne, Australia, are co-artistic directors Budi Miller and myself in Cairo, Egypt. This podcast contains explicit language.
Hi, Adam.
Good morning, Mr. Budi.
Morning? Oh, is it your morning?
For me. It's my morning.
Oh, finally. You get to experience what it's like to be up at the wee hours of the crack of dawn to podcast on our weekly podcast.
That's right. We need to establish a time that we can stick to. We keep going here and there and every which way, and it's not convenient. But we press on nonetheless. It's a hard life we lead.
Such a hard life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like my Kangol? It is
your chapeau?
It is an original Kangol. Oh,
it's a
you know I look good. You know I look good.
Chapeau. It's a lovely chapeau that you have.
And I'm wearing my my slightly slinky bow neck sweater. Mm-hmm. Just to show a little bit of the shoulder. Just a little bit of the shoulder. Just a little bit of the clavicle.
You
just
hussy.
A little bit.
You hussy.
Oh, thank you.
What's this necklace? Tell me about this necklace. I like this necklace. I don't the sweater, but the
this
necklace.
This necklace is a New York designer. It's cool, right? Look at it. It's like Machu Picchu, like Mayan, like we're gonna sacrifice you, or
those are two different cultures.
Have like a better harvest with the Incas, and have a better life with the world of indigenous knowledge.
Okay.
But the funny thing about this whole
New
thing,
York designer. Yes,
a white lady.
Okay, great. That's what I was trying to get at. Machu Picchu, Mayan culture, indigenous practice, white lady. Gotcha. Cool.
Well,
do
you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the white shaman in Brooklyn.
There's a white shaman in Brooklyn calling for rain.
A 30-something white girl shaman in Brooklyn.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
What about her being in Brooklyn, or that she's a white girl shaman at 30-something?
All the above. This entire sentence.
Well, I think the challenge was that she clearly is not properly trained. She needs
in
a
shamanism.
Teacher. In shamanism, yes, she does. She needs a good teacher.
To speak for the land of Brooklyn.
Yeah, to speak from the land of Brooklyn, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
lots of shaking of dried seed shells, and waving of goose feathers, and the smells of burnt camphor, and voila, you're a shaman. A shaman,
Charmin.
excuse me.
You're a toilet paper company?
You're a Charmin.
Don't squeeze the Charmin.
It's like Wonder Woman. You just turn around and spin around and spin around, and voila, you've got the ancient arts of shamanism.
Mm-hmm. That's probably what she actually practiced is shamanism.
Yeah. And she bangs a gong in your head. Gong, gong. That she has no right to bang. I think only Ricky Martin has the right to bang, bang, bang. Keep it loud, keep it strong. Oh, can you tell I had a lot of coffee?
I was wondering. I really was. This was. I didn't want to say it was too much. I was thinking it.
I had an extra large. I had an extra large, extra hot, flat white, oat flat white, and 2 scoops of gelato.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm flying like a bird, baby. I'm flying like Nelly Furtado, honey. I am flying like Nelly Furtado. This is what we have to deal with. What do you mean? What do you mean, Adam Marple?
Furtado.
It's not. It's Furtado, not Furtada.
Yeah, she's not an egg frittata. She's Nelly Furtado.
Oh, okay. Nelly Furtado. I need to get educated. Is what I need to get. I need to get some education.
Well, I mean, I've just woken up and my brain's not there, so you're gonna have to call somebody else in, I think, to educate you today.
Oh, I think we need to get someone that's highly qualified for educating people.
I mean,
especially grad school education.
Do you want to call somebody up?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Let's do like an Oprah Winfrey call.
You want to pull out your Rolodex?
Pull out my Rolodex, and then I'm going to go, caller, you say what?
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary conforming individuals, I would like to welcome back to the podcast, Jen Hammond.
Hello! It is great to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
How are ya?
I am doing well. There's so much going on. Just loads and loads and loads. Yes.
Well, I think
the teaching and the performing and the writing and the stuff.
Yeah. So we need to get down to brass tacks. First, we need to talk about the book. How is your book, Returning the Bones, doing? You know, I have my copy. Jack, I will send you the copy of me taking a photo with it. We will put it on the Instagram because the book is hot, y'all. It's very much. I was telling Jen, it's like Toni Morrison meets Zora Neale Hurston through Jen Hammond's eyes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's doing well. I got nominated for an award, so I'm a finalist for a Forward Indie Award, and just thank you, and just digging that. And I find out about the award in June, but as they say, it's just nice to be nominated. So. Yeah.
Lies. It's nice to get the award. It's nice to get the award.
Yeah, it's even better. It's true. So here's hoping.
It's nice to be nominated, but it's even better to win. Okay.
Yes. Let you know if I do.
And I've got both the audiobook and the actual book because y'all, Jen is a highly accomplished voice actor. And
as you can hear,
is all over the place. Well, yeah, how can you not recognize this beautiful voice as skill and talent? And you get to get her acting and her voice all in one, and her writing. She's a triple threat, y'all. She is a triple threat. So I
was really trying to, Charmin all the characters into my reading.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic, and it's like her reading to you. And I'm in my bathtub, and she reads to me in my bath. Wonderful.
Yes.
And then when there's a bit that I'm like, ooh, I gotta underline that. Then I go to the real book and I go, ooh, I like that line.
Oh, thank you.
Mm,
Thank you.
that's how I do. That's how I do, girl. That's
I
how I
like it.
do.
I like it. Okay.
And you're performing in a show? And
I'm
tell everyone about the
performing in a
show.
show.
Yes. Tell us about
Yeah.
your show.
Okay. So I have just booked 5.5 months of work, stage work.
Pew
The
pew pew pew.
Yeah, the first one is called POTUS, or Behind Every Great Dumbass Are Seven Women Trying to Keep Him Alive. So that's going to be at Act Theater in Seattle. And then there's 2 weeks, and then I start rehearsals for Blithe Spirit at Seattle Rep. So I can't believe it. It's been a minute of doing something like
Wow.
that. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. And
I
I'm going to
love
be
it. I love it. Y'all are.
filming. I know, right? And I'm going to be filming Living Incognito, the play that I wrote that I performed out in Port Townsend, Washington, a while back. So I was still putting together that business. Yeah, so I'm excited about that and putting together a
Uh,
pitch deck for Returning the Bones also. So lots of things in the hopper.
wow. Well,
And oh, yeah, an MFA program, but we'll get to
oh yeah,
that.
let's yeah. Well, yeah. I get speechless when you check in because you just keep doing it. Y'all, I think y'all need to just like I want to speak to all y'all color girls out there.
Let's
All
talk
y'all
to the
color girls
girls.
out there.
Hmm.
Talk
The
to the
rainbow
girls,
is
Jen.
enough. The rainbow is enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen, talk to the ladies out there. Tell them what they need to do. Before we even get into
Oh.
qualifications, I'm already pulling you in because we got a lot of black and brown and BIPOC kids all around the world listening, and especially the girls. Let the girls
uh,
know. Let the girls know about their power.
it
How'd
is.
you
It
survive?
is.
How are you doing it?
It is about the doing of the sustained effort. It is about the sisterhood and the doing of the sustained effort. Another thing that I'm writing at the moment is something that's going to travel around to schools about Susie Revels Caton, who was a Black suffragist in the area, who was a writer, and being able to look back at the span of her life and see how it is not about throwing something random at the wall, and if it doesn't stick, you give up. It is about continued sustained effort, especially together, and just saying no to proud pessimism, because that's garbage. There are cycles, yes, in our greater human evolution, and they happen high points, low points, but we gotta do that sustained collective hopeful thing to make the change happen. And, anytime you study history, you see it. So that's what I'm saying to the sister girls.
You heard it. You heard it right here. Jen Hammond said it. And I want to add perseverance, y'all. Your very act of survival and success all at once is to just stay in it.
Is to just stay in it and diversify your portfolio, but just
Yeah,
stay in it.
stay in it.
Yes.
Stay in
Yeah.
it. That's the best way to fight back. Because when we
Yep.
say what we say, oh, forget it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore. Then they win.
Hmm.
It kills
Hmm.
them when you don't go away.
I must admit, the petty side of me had a moment with regard to a former business partner who embezzled, who I haven't seen her anywhere.
Yeah,
So
right, right.
there's a
Let
certain
her go.
satisfaction. Just
Yeah,
doing
but
my
I'm talking.
thing, and
That
oh hey.
I'm talking about that's a poison in your side, right? That's a thorn. That's a
Mhm.
thorn. That's a knife in your back. I'm talking about us good uns who are working for the greater cause of everybody, right? And
Yes,
oftentimes, what
yes.
happens is that pessimism that you're talking about,
Hmm.
that we meet, as black and brown people and male, gay, queer, trans, all these outlier kind of
Hmm.
individuals, we are often met by the norm that tells us, well, I don't recognize you as something that I value, so there must not be value. So
Yeah.
you just stay there until they realize, oh wow, you do have value.
But But can I give a big ol' holler to the allies? In my research for that last show, I learned a little bit more about Abigail Adams, who is the wife of John Adams, one of the founding fathers of the United States. And she was pushing him all along, not only to include women in the Declaration of Independence, but people of all races as well. She was a visionary. Her nickname
Wow.
was like Madam President because he consulted her as an equal in all things. However, he would not go so far as to include her in the Declaration of Independence because, he didn't want to go against his bros. But
Uh, uh,
it's on paper that she was advocating for women for all people way back then before the country was founded. So
hallelujah.
just a word about that. New
I
respect
think
for
that's
her.
fantastic too. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic thing because Adam doesn't feel like he's the only person that's an ally on the planet. Look, you
Yeah.
have you have ancestors, Adam. You have ally ancestors.
There
Or
are a couple of white people that are good, just a couple.
Elizabeth Van Lew. Do you know about her? Elizabeth
What's
Van Lew
okay?
and Mary
Tell us
Bowser?
about Elizabeth Van Lew. Come on, tell us about
Okay,
Elizabeth
some
Van
more
Lew.
history here. Okay,
Come
so
on.
Civil War. So Elizabeth Van Lew, her dad was a plantation owner. He died, and she was like, "Okay, basically setting y'all free, and everybody else, I'm going to pay you." But there was one person in particular, Mary Bowser, who had an eidetic memory, so photographic memory.
Hmm.
She said, "Okay, I've been doing some spying for the unions, for the Union Army, and we need to get on the inside of this whole situation." So, Mary, you know how I sent you to boarding school in the Northeast, and I sent you to Liberia when you said you wanted to go to Liberia and you changed your mind and all that? I'm wondering, could you just for a beat maybe go back into slavery and go into Jefferson Davis's house? He was the president of the Confederacy, and be a slave and like look over the shoulder, like listen to the meals at dinner, memorize the maps. And they had a major impact on the way that the tide turned for the Union soldiers. So, it makes me think, okay, we got some monsters out there. Who are the monster hunters right now? Are they undercover? What's going on? Right? Shouldn't that be a movie? Wouldn't you love to see that movie? They had
Women,
to
women,
sneak her
women.
out. They had to sneak her out. Like, they had all of these messages, like using the laundry, if it was like in a certain pattern. It is like semaphore, but different, right? And then they realized that she was in danger and they snuck her out in a manure cart. Like just at the last minute, just when Jefferson Davis started to go, wait a minute. Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy story that everybody should know, I think.
And now they do.
And now
Girl,
they
that's
do.
so good. That's so good.
Crazy
It's
story.
wild. It's wild. They would send messages in like hollowed out eggs through the baker, who is on the inside. Like this whole system that they had of like these womanly systems of communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these things
Mm-hmm.
is pretty incredible.
Ah,
Yeah.
that actually makes me breathe very deeply
Mm,
to
mm.
hear because the white woman gets such a bad rap these days.
And she gave it all away. She died poor. When they found out that she was being an ally, nobody would hire her, uh, all of this stuff, and she gave it all up for the greater good.
Wow.
Gets me choked up just thinking about it. But she was a hell of an
It's
ally.
it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
And
right.
what's so beautiful about it is that we all were fighting. We were all
Yeah.
fighting against it.
Yeah.
We were all fighting against the system. And I think that's a really good thing for people to be hearing right now with what's happening in the world.
Hmm.
We are still fighting, and people are allowed to keep fighting. That it's not, it's not, you're not banging your head up against the wall. It's not for an no, the efforts aren't going to be felt. We were just
Hmm.
talking to Elizabeth DeRosa, Dr. Elizabeth DeRosa, about justice, about how justice takes time, and that we may
Hmm.
not get to see the justice for the actions that we are fighting for, but just keep fighting for the cause. and there's
That's
all these
right.
little pockets. There's just because there's just so many of us, right?
Yeah.
Population
Yeah.
just tells us there's just so many of us. It's impossible to make everyone think the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like what grandmother Sarah says in Returning the Bones. You may not see the change you want happen in your lifetime, but change will come. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, how would you not want to have this woman teaching you acting? Jen, what
Thank
else are
you.
you doing? Tell these people about the grad
Well,
school that you are building. That's happening.
yeah, yeah. So there are two organizations. One is the Seattle Film Institute, which has been around for about 30 years. And the other is Freehold Theater Lab Studio, which has been around for 30, 40 years, right? And we have a
Mm,
chocolate peanut butter situation, right?
mm,
Where the Seattle Film Institute, which has been an accredited organization for a while, they've been doing the filmmaking, they've been doing the producing, but they haven't been doing the acting training so much. It's been very small. And so they reached out to Freehold and said, "Hey, you've been doing the acting training. How about we talk?" So we've been talking. And so I'm just going to jump ahead. And the first year is all acting at the Freehold campus. And then second year, a few miles away. The
wow.
the Seattle Film Institute is we're going to have the actors go there and they're all going to take intro to filmmaking and intro to production. And if they want, they can stay on that acting track and do practicums, the short films, the mocap, podcast, whatever. But they could also jump track and go to filmmaking or jump track and go to producing. And no matter what, everybody's going to be
An actor.
guaranteed to graduate with a community of people who can all create work with and for each other,
Oh,
right?
Jen,
And
that's
that just
brilliant.
maximizes the network and the outreach that each individual student has ultimately by the time that they graduate. And we have to wear so many hats now too anyway, right? Like when
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
when I went to
yeah,
grad school, I didn't
exactly.
think I'd have to create a recording studio or
Hmm.
have the softbox lights and learn editing for audio and video and all that kind of stuff, right? Or that I'd eventually be creating some of my own stuff and oh great, now I have to figure out how to produce it. Right? So this is the
Oh my
gift
God.
that I wish I had gotten.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did when I took over the acting program at the VCA. I created an acting school
Mm,
that I never got. I was like, well, I'm going to create the program that I never got.
exactly.
So tell us more
Exactly.
about it. So it's an MFA? So is it a
It's
accredited
an
MFA?
MFA. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's 2 years. It goes straight through, so there's no summer break. And the first year is also structured so that people can work. So it's going to be uh, what is it, like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday, almost as many hours on Saturday, half a day on Sunday, half a day on Monday, and the rest of the time people can still be plugged into the rest of their lives. And there will be times when people need to rehearse for the performance opportunities. But yeah, so there's a real practicality built into the structure of it. And there's going to be clowning, Fitzmaurice. Oh, here's something I'm excited about. We're going to start off with The Artist's Way. Because, I co-founded the
Ah.
Seattle Artist Way Center. And I just, from jump, I want people to not be struggling with, oh, what is that called? Object referral, when they're looking externally to compare themselves against somebody else for whatever reason, so that they can
Mm,
start to see, who am I as an artist and why am I an artist in the first place? Right? So that
mm,
that ensemble, even though we're not together every day, that ensemble can really start to build. People can be more open to each other, more open to themselves.
mm.
There's going to be lots and lots of combat, not just
Yeah.
Aikido, so that people can, especially post COVID, get into feeling the weight of each other's like bodies and feeling the directions of each other's energy and all of that. But think about anything that you watch. Chances are there's combat.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we have a master fight teacher who's going to be with us all the way through that. There's going to be
Ah,
voiceover singing. Everybody's going to graduate with a voiceover reel and a video reel.
woo!
Um,
Oh,
and of course, the acting, not just Meisner, which is the head of Freehold's main jam, but it's going to be open to an array. Did I mention clowning? Oh, and something I
yeah.
like to call book club, which is going to
Ooh.
be dramaturgy. And
Oh,
I'm bringing
Adam,
a bunch of
Adam.
dramaturgs so we can hear from all the dramaturgs. And then I want to have symposiums where the students who are already at the Seattle Film Institute campus and the Freehold campus get together on regular bases in order to hear from people who are just damn good at whatever it is that they do.
Oh my God, Jen, this is incredible.
Thank you.
It's a great program.
I'm
Sounds like
So
a
excited
let
great
for it. I hope it
program.
runs. Yeah.
so can you tell us about what would an international student's experience be like, and what would they need to do? What's the audition? Because we're an international podcast, so there are probably people
Yeah.
around the world that are going, oh my God, I want to go to this. How do they
Yeah.
what do they what should they be thinking about?
What should they be thinking about? They should be thinking about international student visas.
Hmm.
They should know that we will be offering 2 full scholarships, and depending on the number of people, there could be 3. Um, they should know that they need to figure out their own housing. These are 2 small, very independent campuses that can, these 2 schools are great at pivoting, and it's not just this behemoth where, well, we've always done things this way, but it
Hmm.
means that we don't have a dormitories or anything like that, right? So they need to look at that, and they can communicate with us about any questions, and we will go to the utmost to help them find what they need to find and figure out what they need to figure out. Yeah.
Fantastic. And is there an industry showcase?
There is, yes. And casting directors and agents will probably be part of the symposium along the way, and we'll be inviting them to performances along the way as well. And this year, something that's really nice is usually Oregon, which is just to the south of us. They have more production during the year, but at the last SAG-AFTRA meeting, there are 13 things lined up to be filmed in Washington and only 10 in Oregon. Ha ha! Suck it, Oregon. Just kidding. Hire me, Oregon. Uh,
That's
so
fantastic.
yeah, we got some monies recently from the government, so there are more incentives in place for productions, and people jumped on it. So I'm excited.
Oh, this is so. And so, when does it start? When are you taking
September
applications still?
September 23rd. Yes, we are, and we have in-person auditions June 8th. But we are flexible as far as online auditions, and we've had some and have accepted some students already. So,
Oh, fantastic. And do you
yeah.
have a number limit of students?
15 is the number.
Oh, that's a good number. That's a good
Yeah.
number.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping for 14, just for evenness. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's the number.
odd is also fun too, baby. Odd is fun
Okay.
too.
Wow, I feel so funny when you say it like that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm. Wow, Jen. I that's a grad school that I'd want to go to.
Me too. I wish it was my experience. We'll be talking about business as well, I should mention, because we
Mm,
had, I think, about 2 hours at my grad school talking about the
yeah.
thing that we spend at least 70% of our time doing
Yeah.
in the business,
Yeah.
right? So I made sure that that was going to be a big part of it as well. And that is definitely where we're going to be meeting the casting directors and the agents, and just knowing how to mentally deal with the business. I think that fortitude is important as well. Um, yeah, we all know stories of, and we might have been these people who graduated and thought, why aren't the jobs raining down from the heavens? What am I missing here? And then comes the anxiety and the freaking out, which is not so good for the auditioning and, you know. So how about let's skip over that part and just
Yeah.
get it
Can you
together.
talk about that more? Because I have a lot of um, students that have graduated from these you know high level ranking grad schools that are experiencing exactly what you're saying about
Yeah.
the business and the depression that's coming up of like, I left this
Hmm.
school and now what?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking of one younger friend of mine who she got her degree, she moved from this region to Manhattan, and she also, like many of us, maybe this is why some of us become actors, had a family that wasn't super supportive, attentive, etc. Getting a lot of messages, yeah, of, you see, we told you you wouldn't find any work, things like that. Anyway, so she's
Mm,
had that noise in her brain. She gets there. She, of course, has to find an apartment. And everybody has New York apartment stories. And of course, her first apartment was way up north, and there was a window, but it was about this close from the opposite wall of the alley, kind of stinky, kind of noisy. And she's wondering immediately, what am I doing with my life? But she doesn't have time to wonder that for long because she has to get a job or three. So she's busy doing that. And oh, yeah, I'm an actor. Let's see, where are the auditions? Seriously, where are the auditions? And then trying to keep herself on point and educated. And so there is this whole thing of not realizing it takes a year to acclimate to just about any big city that has a lot of production happening, whether it be on stage and or on sets. And then a year passes and you go, oh my God, a year has passed. And this sort of thing is definitely why I co-created the Meditations for Actors app, because then the freak out is real. And maybe I should just cut bait while I'm still young. Should I go back to school? All of these things. So she's been going through all of these things. And I talked to her this past weekend and she said, guess what? I booked the nurse in RNJ. It's on the island of Manhattan above 14th Street. I'm like, yeah, you did.
yeah.
And a year and a half really isn't that long, but she doesn't know that.
No.
She's living it.
Yeah.
And she's got all of this pressure. And, we've got dreams. We've got dreams. And
Yeah.
all the real things that make it hard to just not come home with ringing in your ears. That was my experience. They kind of get in the way and they cloud the vision. So yeah, those are the things. But it's that moment too when when the desperation um, is in the air when you're auditioning. It doesn't help. It doesn't help, and we get tense and we make um, uh, fearful choices as we audition. So.
Can you talk about sustainability as well? Because you were talking about sustainability. So
Mm,
within the framing of what you're talking about now, of like the actor's life, and
yeah.
what is sustainability from this uh lens?
In my opinion, or at least what I lived, sustainability is finding work that you actually enjoy. I did the opposite, and I got work that I felt like I could leave at the drop of a hat um, as soon as I booked that gig. And
Mm,
that did not add joy to my life. So,
mm,
uh, developing those skills in those areas that bring you pleasure, that's huge. And just continually feeding yourself with art, just the same way you would if you were burnt out because you have had the wonderful problem of working and working and working and working, right? It's that same
mm.
thing. And it also goes under the diversify the portfolio category. If you're an actor, don't just see acting. Go see the visual art, go listen to the music, all of that kind of stuff, that feeds the soul.
Mm.
And try and always come from a place of abundance no matter what. And your acting is always going to be better, your life is going to be better, your perception of time is going to, I'll just say, be better, right? All of that stuff. abundance, and that can be emotional too. It can be your relationships, all of those kinds of things.
Okay, so this is the big question. This is the one, and I know that it's easier advised than actual implementing any kind of advice around this.
Uh-huh.
But I really want to have your feedback on jealousy, on seeing classmates rise, rise, and I'm
Hmm.
using the bunny ears here, y'all. When I say rise or book or whatever, um,
Yeah.
how what's your feedback on that? I don't even because when I put that into the space, what comes up for you when you to talk to the young ones coming up and those that are being challenged by this, who don't want to be angry and bitter, but things are coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Thank you. I will bring that up at the beginning of the year. Lighthouse. That's the word and the image that comes to mind, that come to mind. Lighthouse. It lets you know where you want to go. It is simply a beacon. Jealousy is simply a beacon. It helps you know where you want to be. And the more you pay attention to your jealousy and know that it is like the spirit that is guiding you, saying, oh, come over here, come over here. And when you feel very little jealousy, when somebody says, oh, this thing happened, I booked this gig with, let's say, that involves a lot of clowning and mask. And if your inner spirit isn't thinking, oh, I'd like to do that, then that lets you know that's maybe not something that you need to pursue, right? So it can help you be efficient. It's a guide. Jealousy is a
Mm,
guide, you know?
mm,
And if you're able to pair uh, the lighthouse of jealousy with coming from a sense of abundance, you won't feel like somebody else getting a job is taking something away from you. That's my
mm.
opinion anyway. What do you think about it? What's your opinion
I
about
think that's
jealousy?
I think that's a because when you put it in that way, I actually think about like how I become who I am, and it's because of having the blocks of getting things get like and for me the lighthouse term for me comes out of how I survived, which is decide on what you want and wait your turn.
Decide on what you want and wait your turn. I love that.
And for me, imagistically, the deciding on what you want is the building of the lighthouse and the
Hmm.
projection of where it's going, and wait your turn linearly until it shines on the actual thing that you want because it's
Yeah.
linear, right?
Uh-huh. Circular, but is it
Circular, right?
circular
Well,
going?
it's moving circularly. It's
Yeah.
but if you it depends
360.
on where you're perceiving it, right?
Yeah.
It depends on where you're standing to perceive it, right? You
That's
could
kind
be
of
at the
funny. Yeah.
center,
Uh-huh.
right? Or you could be at the
Yeah.
all the way at the spot, and then you're sitting here waiting for the light to
Uh-huh.
shine on you. But you could be at the center where you just be with the light shining as you get to where you want to go.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then I have the image of the person who is fruitlessly jealous, who is always running just behind the light, and so it never shines on them, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey. Yeah.
Well, then it becomes the wheel of fortune, right? You're stuck on the outside as opposed to going to the center where you are in
Mm.
control of all the different changes of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Adam, what about you? How do you deal with this? What is your lighthouse reference?
I'll tell you when I figure it out.
Yeah. It's
You
real.
know,
It's real,
it's
Adam.
it's
It's
real.
real.
It is. I mean, it's and to think that for all our young listeners that we figure it out and we perfect it and then we're done is a lot, right? It's a struggle. It's a daily thing. I mean, there are plenty of times where we're in full confidence mode and know exactly where we're going and what our worth is, and then there are the other days, the other
Yeah.
days that you're reminded that crap, I'm an artist.
Crap.
No,
Yeah.
no. Can I tell you? Okay, so I've gone to multiple funerals in the past month, and it has been a reminder that, hey, this is going to end, right? And I am so glad that I am doing what I'm doing. There was, for other folks I know, they're having their existential crises as a result. I'm like, well, I know where I want to be. But I mean, jealousy does come up uh in a way too with me, like with things that I have no control over. And that's the thing where the place where we can really waste our energies, right? So um, I would have loved to have started as a dancer. But those things
Me
were
too.
those things
Me
were not there for
too.
me and discouraged. And so if I see incredible dancing, actually, if I see a dancer where my mirror neurons are just exploding because I feel like my body could have moved that way as a dancer. There's some dancers I'm like, no, it never would have happened anyway. But I see something like that. I try and let my mirror neurons ride that train and enjoy it. But B, I'll go, I can't do that. But maybe I'll hit the gym. I'm not just gonna go sit on the couch, be depressed, and eat a bag of chips, or eat a bag of
I
crisps.
wanted to be a Madonna dancer and a Janet
Yeah.
Jackson backup dancer. Growing
Mhm.
up, I wanted to be a backup dancer for those two women so
Mhm.
desperately. So desperately. So desperately. Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
remember
Yes.
Learn to Fly de la Guarda. Do you remember that show? It was
Yeah.
in New York for a couple years.
Uh-huh.
I saw it
Uh-huh.
so many times, and I auditioned for it, and I
I
made it through the
remember
first
that, Jen.
stage, the
I
second
remember
stage, and
that.
then I didn't get it. I was like, how did I not get this? How did It was like shock more than anything else. It's like, this is not right, but this is not right. But what do you remember? Was
I
I
remember
talking
when
to
you
you
were
around that
auditioning. I
time when I
remember when
was,
you were auditioning. Yeah,
oh
yes. I
man,
remember when you were auditioning for it. I remember you getting through all those different phases. Like
that
it
was
was like
my
you were in the
Madonna backup
zone.
dancer moment. I was
Yeah.
like, how did this
Yeah.
not happen? Everything in me, every cell of me knows I can do it, and every cell of me will do anything to do it. And I didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
And
and
that
nobody
was
taught
around
me
the
to
time
move
that
on
you were
yet.
booking a lot. That was when you did that was around Syringa Tree. That was like when you were booking a lot around that time. So like you were on fire.
After, I think I booked after, so I definitely was feeling the scarcity.
The
Yeah,
fire was happening though. Something
it
was
is
happening because you were like in
starting.
the zone. Because I was like, this girl's gonna get
Oh,
it. I was like,
yeah.
I had faith you were gonna get it
But
too.
in the meantime, what
I
was I
think I was.
doing? I was temping. I was temping during the day. Once at Ed Koch's office, it was a legal office, and he would sleep all day. It was fascinating. I'd walk by his place, and there was a literal Rolodex, and there were all of these big New York people and supermodels in the Rolodex. I was like, I should not have access to this. Yeah, and then hostessing at night, and then cleaning on the weekends for White Glove Elite, the all actor cleaning agency, which I think is still around. There was an all musician cleaning agency, but apparently they never showed up on time or at all. And so that one closed. But yeah, man. And so I was like, I want to get off this hamster wheel. I want Learn to Fly de la Guarda. But it didn't
I think
happen,
I
and
actually
that
went and
was
saw that
life.
because of you. I
Oh
think I went
yeah?
and saw it because of you.
Oh man,
Because
I
you were
love
so
that
I was like, okay,
show.
I gotta go see this because Jen is like a mess for
It
this
was
show.
just everything I want in the world that
I
was
got
that
picked
show.
up.
You got picked up? I
Yeah.
am so jealous. I did get
I got
kissed
picked
once.
up. I got picked up and rolled around on the floor. You got
Ah,
yes. See, now it's all coming back to me. It's all
ah.
coming back to me. It's all coming back to me. It's all
It was
coming back to
so
me.
great. It was so great, man.
Do you think that show could work this with what the world is now with
Yes.
all the consent?
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at
Okay,
you
so
two.
it's like
Oh my
going
God.
to,
I wish
it's
I could have taken a screen grab of you two because you both have the exact same gesture in your face.
it's like going to Fogo de Chão, the Brazilian place. Green for I want some meat. Reds for no thank you, I've had enough. Yeah, that's how I think it would work.
Adam, do you think it could work?
I think that's actually a really good idea because, I mean, by going to the show inherently, you are, if you know what the show
Giving
is.
consent.
I think there has to be a lot of information outside, and I don't think that ruins.
Trigger warnings, Adam?
No.
Can you tell the
I was about to
listeners what it
say.
is?
Yes.
Okay.
What
So
I
no,
think. Yeah, Adam, tell. Give your version of the show. And Jen,
Okay,
if you need to correct him, please do.
you'll need to correct me because I never saw De La Guarda, but I did see Fuerza Bruta. So
Oh.
same company, not same concept, but I mean they're touching you, they're bringing you onto things, they're throwing things at your face. I mean it's
Water
a
is
full on,
falling down.
yeah, it's a full experience. And I don't
The
think
walls are
in a
breathing.
non-trigger warning way, I don't think it gives away the show if you say, like, you go to, I'm not supporting this at all, but you go to SeaWorld and there's a splash zone, right? So you say along the lines of, this may happen to you if you enter into this room, you are consenting to all the above in a playful, jokey way,
If there was a trigger warning thing that said, this is SeaWorld meets Fogo de Chão, I would just need to go to the show to see what the hell does that mean.
Yeah.
Just stop there. Yeah, but I still remember it was ba 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 ha ba 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 ba. I still remember the beat that you had to stamp out with your feet. Yeah, and yell. It was so first chakra primal awesomeness.
Maybe you need to bring it to Seattle.
After I win the lottery, yeah.
With all that grad school money.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be jealous. It's hard not to book work. But I'm glad that with hindsight, I know now how to deal, and I am happy to be here and give some tips and explain to people how to survive, telling them things that I wish I had been told.
But this is what I love about having you at the helm of creating a grad school, because you walk the path. So many of these different places that are offering degrees into this industry. A lot of the teachers have never been in this industry.
Yeah, I've walked the path. I've stepped on the landmines. Yeah. I'm reaching back and going, come on, everybody, this way.
Yeah. Hero's journey. You're in your hero's journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going back to the tribe and say, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. I just went out there. This is what I found out.
I should just have a session like once a week with them called, hey, y'all.
Yeah.
You need to know.
Yeah, there's something you need to know. And then do like Zoom chats with all your friends around the world.
Ooh. All right. Well, you might be meeting these
really
students.
Fantastic people.
I
want
do.
to.
Yay.
I want to.
Yeah, people have been in it more than a minute to win it. Yeah.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Here we are.
So, I can keep you on this podcast forever. I can. And I'm so glad to invite you back, because I'm going to bring you back. Let's take a break and do some provocations. How's that sound, y'all?
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what we do.
So let's take a break and we'll come back with some provocations. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary conforming individuals, you are listening to the stereo sounds of J.D.B. Jack David Burmester. And we're back. Jack, you once again have knocked it out of the park. Where do you find time to do all this composing? I swear to God, this boy, his dance card is the fullest, and he still has time to put his beautiful, beautiful compositions on this little podcast.
Yay.
So, Adam, we're at provocations. Can you remind Jen what a provocation is?
So, Jen, as before, we leave a question or a provocation or something with our audience to think about and respond back to, and maybe even come back and challenge us on. So, what's on your mind? What are you thinking about? What's keeping you up late at night or waking you up early in the morning?
Let's see. What I'm thinking about is, I think it was called is it the Fourth Wave? Something like that. A book that was written in the late 90s that maps out how sociologically uh, where we'd be right now. And I know that there's a new book out called like This is the Fourth Wave or something like that. I wish I had it at hand. But finding it fascinating that this person has taken a look at the cycles of rebirth and destruction in societies all over the world and saying, oh, this is where we are. And we're at the precipice of things either getting even worse or better. But it helps me with my anxiety to think about because it kind of crops up when I think of my son and what's going to be there for him. But just a reminder that it is a cycle. It is a cycle. It is a cycle. Some are longer than others, but some could have at the ends of terrible things like the Civil War, World War II, Depression. Things could have been worse. They were bad, but they could have been worse, and we need to remember that we got to stay engaged. So that's what's keeping me up. I think when you said keeping me up, that's the thing. It's like, where are we on the cycle? Where are we on the cycle? How soon is this going to be over? Thoughts of those
I think
monster
it's a
hunters
great way to
again.
look at it from an artist's point of view as well for what we need to be making as well. It's like
Yeah.
archiving on the cycle.
Being able to perceive the zeitgeist in a timely way for when your art's ready. Yeah. Or investing.
I keep going back to this. Because I just finished it and I keep going back to it and I just can't. Jen, I just finished reading Beloved again.
You did. Oh.
I did. I can't stop talking about it. And like within the framing of what you're talking about, the cycle, the fourth wave, like I just look at and that book just so beautifully impacts us from an intersection in a moment of dream space. And it's like, as an artist, Toni Morrison really, I think, just did what you said. She archived a point on the chart, a point on the, you know what I mean? It's like, this is blackness, this is black femaleness, this is boom.
Yeah.
And I think what's so fantastic about it is, as an archival document, it's done in a way where it's raw, it tells the truth, but it doesn't accuse anyone of anything other than their actions that they've done. It's incredible, and
Yeah.
so with that kind of freedom, as a body that has gone through trauma, to make art in that way, with that understanding that this is just the wave of life. We are in the muck of a cycle.
Yeah. So you're talking about intersectionality, not being accused of anything that somebody hasn't done, and fourth wave. And it's also it makes me think about where we are with tribalism too,
Mhm.
because that's its
Mhm.
own circle as well. Like
Mhm.
where do we get to uh, having healthy boundaries, sense of self and community, and then when does it become a pulling apart?
Mm.
Where there's a almost dictatorship. How would I say it? Dictatorial kind of
Mhm.
view of
Autocracy.
things,
Mhm.
right? Where
Mhm.
there's assumption and blaming. That's another
Mm.
thing that's been swirling around in my head that I get concerned about, you know?
So I'm going to add on to your provocation. So we'll find that book for people to read,
Yeah, I'll
that
follow up.
that you just suggested. But we would love to have I would love for people to give us their feedback on how they feel about this cycle that they're in, and
Mm.
how it's affecting their art, and what stories they think need to be told, and from what intersection. I think that's a really great provocation. Send that to us, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's open it up. Adam, do you have anything?
No. We stick with that. That's the one right there.
Yeah, yeah. So, Adam, how will we know that people have done this, and how can people do this?
They will go to speakpipe.com/theater of others. Again, speakpipe.com/theater of others, theater with an R-E, theater of others, all one word. Leave a 90-second voice message. We'll play it on air. We actually just got something to SpeakPipe thing, so we'll play that on our next episode.
Ooh,
It's really good. It's a response to our trigger warnings episode. And
ooh.
Awesome.
if they don't want to have their voice heard, understandably so, they can go to podcast@theaterofothers.com. We are also on
Mhm.
Instagram, Facebook, and our
On the
website.
gram, y'all.
So get out there, give us your thoughts, your provocations, your questions, your challenges. But the only way they're going to know about these great guests that we have on or these topics that we're talking about is if they do what, Budi?
Subscribe, 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 subscribe.
Yeah.
we, we come to your inbox every week. Every week, every single week, we come to your inbox for 5 years, Adam?
4 years, 5
For 4
seasons.
years, we came to your inbox. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to your inbox 4 years. 4 years in a row, every single week. Every single week. And the only way you're going to be able to get the info is if you subscribe. Push that subscribe button and be a part of the conversation. And if you really like us, you could be like my Uber driver and give us 5 stars. You could be 5 stars. I give you 5 stars. 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. It's a zero sum win all the games. Sometimes we win, sometimes we win together. And if you really like us, you can leave us a little comment and say, "Oh my God, this was amazing because Jen Hammond was there. And so I'm going to give you 5.1 stars." And then if you give us a comment, oh my God, it goes into the algorithms and then it goes, yeah, it goes, and then it goes, can I milk it or what? And then we go from the top 5% podcast to the top 1% podcast. And you know who comes. If we're 1% and the number one, Adam Marple, you know who it is. Who is it? Oprah.
Oprah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then when Oprah comes, you know who follows right behind Oprah?
Mhm.
Beyonce.
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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know who loves the Virgo? Who loves the Virgo? Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Oh, so how can you not join in and say, because I left a comment, because I subscribed, I got to hear Adam and Budi talk to Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, and Michelle Obama. Because of you, listeners. We did it because of
Mhm.
you.
Collective sustained effort.
Hallelujah. Oh, Jen, I love you. I would love you. We're gonna put all your information on the. Can you just tell us some more? Where can they find about your grad school? What's the name of your grad school? Is there a website? Tell us what the people need to know.
Yes, SeattleFilmInstitute.com. Seattle Film Institute, or Freehold Theater, spelled with an RE.org. And both places have information. And it's the place to go. Yeah, for the MFA info. Yeah.
I love them already because they spell theater with an RE. They're on our side. Hello.
Exactly.
I think it's in an Old West kind of way. Theatre.
Theater.
Yeah.
Theater.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, will they get to have play practice?
Oh, well, they get to have play practice as they will. Yes, of course. For goodness sake. Yeah, and if you're acting in the second year, there's all kinds of time to get creative and do big projects, multiple projects, all kinds of things.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of new work that you're going to be doing with the, as a collective. So
yes,
brilliant.
Yes.
Well, Jen, you're coming back. This is not the last time they'll hear you, because now you're a regular guest, and we'll be bringing you back.
I'm thrilled, excited, honored, and my mind is blown. So thank you, Budi and Adam. Thank you.
I love you so much.
You too.
Adam, I love you too.
I love you as well.
I'll see you next week. And for everyone else, we'll see you, or you will see us, and you'll hear us in your inbox because you subscribed next week. Bye!
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.